Good morning. It is November 15th, about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think it's like 27 degrees, what it said it was. So I'm down here at the Sugarhouse, and we're going to show you some of the stuff we've been doing. So the Sugarhouse, it was built in 2014. The summer of 2013 and the fall of 2013. So in 2013, November 15th, the Sugarhouse was I think the siding might have been finished about then. So it was, we put the walls up, we put the trusses on and the roof on Columbus Day of, the weekend right before Columbus Day of 2013. The evaporator was delivered on Columbus Day of 2013. And then when the evaporator was put in, the siding on the walls and the insulation and things were not finished. So, and at that point, the driveway was just merely, just a roughed-in road. The guy that leveled off the pad for the Sugarhouse just basically took the dozer and kind of leveled off a road and kind of made a road on his way out. So we've been working on the road over the years and just, trying to improve it here and there. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, we had another excavator guy come in and we took out a whole bunch of trees. So there used to be more trees closer to the Sugarhouse and up by the shed and things like that. And we had a guy come in with an excavator and we just had him knock them all over. He started down here at the bottom and worked his way out, knocking the trees over. I said, a deer just went across the road up here. He's looking at me. And that took out quite a lot of trees. It helped us widen the road out a little bit, straighten the road out a little bit. And we've been hauling in gravel and stone here and there, making it better. The road is, it's rough as far as it's not, it's got some ups and downs in it, and it's got some turns, but it's very solid because it does have a lot of rock that's in there. You could drive a triaxle full of whatever down in here and it's going to be fine. But one of the problems we have is turning around and parking. So we've been wanting to do that. We've been wanting to get more room to turn around, more parking, so that if we do Maple Weekend, we can have more people come down and it not be a problem. And the thing with the road is the road right now, it looks like it's real narrow because everybody keeps driving in the middle, but it's actually very solid out into the sides. But it doesn't look like it because it's all weeds. The weeds keep growing up. So at some point we're going to eradicate the weeds. The final straw is going to be to eradicate the weeds completely and do something to keep them from coming back. But last weekend, I bought the Bobcat skid steer, and buying the Bobcat skid steer and being able to use the auxiliary hydraulics and be able to use attachments and do work with that is going to be really good for me. And the other thing is, it's 92 horsepower turbo diesel. It's got a lot of power versus my New Holland, and of course it has the tracks versus my New Holland that was I don't think it was quite 60 horsepower and the wheels. So this Bobcat down here last weekend doing the work that we did, the New Holland would have never been able to do it. If it was able to do it, it wouldn't have been able to do it as good. So I wanted to work on this for a while, and the girls finally finished fall softball, and I'm like, this is a pretty good time. We need to try to do it before things get froze up and get it kind of worked out. And of course we had rain before last weekend, and we had rain on Sunday. So it's not quite as good as I would like it to be, but it is definitely kind of roughed in. So I rented an excavator from Upstate Equipment in Big Flats, the same dealership that I bought the Bobcat from. We rented an E35, and I'd never run one. And I just mentioned to my neighbor and my neighbor and friend, Dana, and I was like, hey, if I'm going to rent an excavator, would you want to help me do some excavating down at the Sugarhouse? Meaning, would you come run it? He has a friend of his that has excavators, and he's run them quite a bit. And he's like, yeah. So Dana actually met the truck here last Friday when it dropped it off. And he actually brought his brother Clayton with him. And the two of them, Clayton and Dana, I do their hay ground, but they both help me with doing hay. They both will run the round baler. Dana actually moved like 200 round bales for me during fall ball season, just to be nice for something to do. And he actually has more hours in the Bobcat than I do. So they met the truck here with the excavator, and actually they had to bring the Bobcat back. I had a code that came up in the Bobcat, and the tech came out to look at it, and he ended up that he took it. And I think they said it was a wire under the seat or something. I don't know. But it wouldn't let you use the auxiliary hydraulics. And it was all under warranty. It's no big deal. It probably was something that might have gotten, might have been undone for a while. Nobody knew it. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. It was under warranty. They came, got it, they took it, they fixed it, they brought it back. They actually were going to bring it back the next day, I think. And I was like, I'm not worried about it. I don't need it. You can bring it back when you bring the excavator, because I'm going to rent an excavator. So Dana, Clayton started digging. So the idea was to dig with the excavator, move with the Bobcat, and so then the excavator didn't have to, do any moving much, just keep digging. And so we have two areas that we were working on down here. And the excavator, he actually would dig in one spot and get a big pile. He'd move to the other spot, get a big pile, and the Bobcat just kept taking dirt from get one pile cleaned out, and then the excavator moved back. It actually worked very well. And then on Saturday, they were here probably 7:30 in the morning Saturday, and they were working, and it was warmer than it is now. It was probably closer to 40. And they ran the Bobcat and the excavator till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I got my brother-in-law, Cody, came, and I texted him, I'm like, hey, you want to come run the excavator this afternoon? My neighbor's been helping me, but he's got to leave. And Cody's like, yeah, I'll be down. So he showed up, and then I ran the Bobcat, he ran the excavator, and we went till just about dark on Saturday. And because I really wanted to get done, because it was calling for, I think it was 90% or better chance of rain on Sunday, and like 50. I'm like, I know I'm not going to be able to do as much if it truly does rain. And it turned out that the hourly forecast, there was a few spots that it didn't rain on Sunday here and there. So I actually did work, but I didn't. Nobody else was here. It was just me. And I only ran the excavator just a little bit. I'm not good enough at it that I would want to rent it for a weekend and try to knock out a big project myself. I'll be better off to rent it and just try to do it, dig a ditch or dig a hole or something like that. But I actually wanted to backfill. I have a little bit of backfilling to do on the addition, and I wanted to do that with it. And then after I ran it a little bit, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm quite good enough to go in there and work around a pole. So I decided that I was just going to park it. So I'm going to turn you around. We'll show you. So we worked on it. It's a little bit rough now because it needs to be graded off. And, Sunday it rained just enough to really kind of put a little bit of a damper on the project. But the excavator did a lot of digging. I'm not sure. I was trying to figure out how many yards of material. You watch Gold Rush and like, oh, we run 100 yards an hour or 400 yards an hour or whatever, and that's a lot. I mean, they have big machines. So I just kind of roughed it out. I think I was like, I think it's like over 200 yards of material, roughly figuring it out. I wasn't sure how big this area over here was, but we did two areas. We did an area up by the shed, just kind of took that bank out, which that was the plan altogether, was to take the bank out farther. I just ran out of time last year and it got too cold. I should have rented the excavator last year, really, because that would have been great. But anyway, we'll turn you around and show you what we got. So we didn't change the driveway a whole lot. So the driveway still comes down the same, and it's the same. It's still just as steep as it was. And the reason is because over there by the cone, that's where the well is. I just have a spring-fed well. Back about, I don't know, 2000, was it 2011 or 12, something like that. There's always water down here. There's always water running right out of the ground. I'm like, man, there's a spring somewhere. So I had my little backhoe, and I did some digging down here, and I found where there was a lot of water kept coming out of. And I dug a hole with the backhoe, and it filled up, like, as I dug it, and I actually left the hoe down in the hole, and it filled up like overnight, like probably a, I don't know, 3x3 by 4 hole or something like that. It filled up overnight. Same thing that I did over the Sugarhouse, over the horse barn. The horse barn is a groundwater well as well. I dug a hole over there and it filled up overnight. And then over there we buried four. We buried 2 concrete tanks, and we stacked 2 on each top of each other. And it gave us, I think it's a little over 2,500 gallons of storage. They're concrete tanks. The bottoms are open. It's just all, the bottom is all washed stone. And most of the time, they're fine. We have plenty of water at the horse barn, except for this summer, probably August, we started having water problems. We had to be careful to not run out of water. And we just had, a week or so ago, we had to really watch the water there too. But most of the time, it's pretty good. Versus, back then, drilling a well and stuff. So we drilled a well for the cabins in 2023. It was about $11,000. So versus putting a tank in or whatever, it's a lot cheaper to do a tank. Especially if you're going to rent the excavator to do it. So this one is a spring tank up there by the cone. And I think it's a 325 or 350 gallon tank, but it doesn't, the way it's designed, you have an overflow on it. It doesn't fill up all the way. It fills up pretty close to all the way. But it works. I would like to have more water down here. I think down here so the water line runs between the cone to the corner of the Sugarhouse right there. So it's underground. It's probably, and I think this has all been added to. So it's probably pretty deep right here, actually. But I was like, let's just not. We were going to take this bank out by the Bobcat and go all the way around the same level, all the way around over to the other side of the well. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe there's a chance that we'd get close to the water line. So let's just not do that. It's a little bit more work than I want to do like right now. I wanted to get this all roughed in as much as possible, get it graded off, and then start hauling in gravel to get it how we want it. So I decided not to do that. So that would be the future project. So I was actually looking at things yesterday, and I'm thinking about, we're probably going to take that tank out and either build a well out of, concrete blocks or whatever, or I don't know. One idea is to just take big culvert pipes and just put them in the ground side, like 3-foot diameter culvert pipes that somebody's got that they use for project, and they're not long enough to go under a road anymore. They cut them off or whatever, put them in there side by side and let them fill up and with water. We need about, you need about 1,000 gallons to run and clean the reverse osmosis machine for startup for the season. So with a 300-gallon tank, it takes 3 days. So you have to fill up, run 300 gallons through, let the well fill up, run 300 gallons through, let the well fill up, run 300 gallons through, or you have to put 300 gallons into a sap tank, each day, do the same thing, letting the well recover, and then hope it doesn't freeze in this half tank and run it all through at once. So it's that's a little bit of a pain. So I'm probably going to end up digging up the well, putting in a bigger tank, like a 1,000-gallon or 1,200-gallon tank. And when we do that, we will dig up the water line, at least in the road portion, and put it lower. And then we'll probably throw in, it has a, what do you call it? Spring-fed well pump too. I don't know what you call it. Can't think. So instead of doing that, we would probably run the water line, put the water line deeper, and then just run wire and do a deep well pump with a pitless adapter. But anyway, so we graded this all off. So this this clumpy stuff here. I just kind of backbladed with the bucket the hill a little bit to smooth it off. So we got to come in here and clean this up a little bit. But we just kind of want to see, like, is it going to be, there are low spots or high spots and things like that. And you can see it's got some water sitting in here. It looks like it's a little high right here where it's coming back. I mean, this is just a nice little area to park, or, the bank was right over here. It was literally right there. That was all bank. So we dug it all out. I think it's going to go. We're probably going to dig it farther eventually. So then there's this part. So you used to come down the driveway, and let's see, the bank was probably about right here somewhere. Probably about right in the middle. So we dug this all out, and we dug it back. And I mean, so the idea is the cars would come down this way. Cars or trucks come down this way and just pull in and park this way, or back in and park over here, like this tracks. That's perfect. That's where I came in. I came down. I pulled up there, and I backed up there. And then when I left, I went out this way. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So then we're working on, it rains. So I'm down here today. I'm looking it over, and I'm getting ready. I'm going to do some grading. If we have diesel fuel. We ran out of fuel the other day and had to order fuel. So you can see where the water, so some of this water here, actually, there's a couple places here where the water comes out of the bank too. So it looks like we have a little bit of a high spot right here, but not bad. I don't think it's that high. And it's got into some clay right here, pretty good clay right here. And then down here, we hit a little bit of shale. So we actually have, looks like a low spot, which is fine. It's not a big deal. So what we did was we dug this back part with the excavator. My brother-in-law dug this, and he had a ditch started. And then I just took the Bobcat and stuck it right in there. You can see there's some shale right there. This spot right here was pretty shaly. And I just took the Bobcat and put one track in what he did. He only dug to about here, and I got it so the Bobcat was tipped and just went right in there and made it a pretty nice little swale. Then right here from the spool to me and to the left of me, there was a little bit of, it was a grass. And I took the topsoil off and pushed it all this way. And I did all this out here on Sunday, and it had been raining. So it was not as easy to work with. And then what we're going to do down here, where it looks like it's running down here pretty good, actually. And it's pooling up down here, which is fine. It's hard to get it to go exactly where you want it to. But that's what I want to do, is have it pool up down here. And then I'll just dig it. I'll just dig a small trench, and we'll run it in a pipe and go under. And right here, where the tank is the road to go over to the shed that feeds the vacuum to the other side. So, pretty good. So we took all that dirt and we brought it out here. So the road, actually, I'm standing on the road. There was not much to the right here. This has all been filled in. And actually, up here by the side-by-side, it stopped. It actually stopped right about here, I think. Right about here was where the ground stops. We filled this all in, and then we took all that dirt and filled all that in. It actually just barely basically went around the corner. Came off straight somewhere right here, and went over there and just barely was around enough to go around the corner. So when I actually hauled fuel down last year, I actually went out there and drove down off the road and went around, down on the lower level. So this is all filled. We hauled it all around here and filled this all in. So right underneath me is where the drain pipe comes out for the reverse osmosis. And there's a 12-inch pipes, two 12-inch pipes that run along the length of Sugarhouse, and they stop like right in here somewhere. And then it goes from 12-inch down to 4-inch, and it comes right out through here. And you can see the 4-inch right there. I added two 20-foot pieces. I found a piece that was like 4-foot piece and a piece that was 5 foot, and that's what's sticking out so far. So it's I'd say about 30. Let's see, if it was going to be 50, it's probably about 40. So that'd be about 40 feet that this pipe has been extended. So this has been filled in 40 feet farther. And then we're working on doing this out here. I had, when we first did the drains out here, they were just the floor drains, just came out of the wall, just came out of the concrete, the pad, and they stopped. They ran on the ground, and we just kept digging like little trenches with a shovel and a hoe and getting the water away. Well, then last year I buried the pipe, put pipes in and buried them, but didn't get it. I never got a chance to fill it all in how it was supposed to be. And so then last weekend we filled it in more and we started grading it off. And these pipes have both been extended. I think this one here, the white one's that's a 10-foot piece that's been put on. It was 20 feet, so that'll make it 30 feet. And then the other one, the same. It's you can see the white there where it stopped. That was 20 feet, and then I found a piece of conduit just to throw on the end. I couldn't find any. Didn't have any. What do you call it, couplers, and of course the conduit has a piece of the bell on it, so I just used that. That was a lot easier. And same thing with the white one. I think I found I might have found one with a bell for that too, or maybe it had a coupler on. I can't remember. And then this is the water. So out here we've got to get some drainage going on here. This soft spot right here. This is where all the water runs. Has run in there for years from the draining the tanks. So we'll put a pipe here underneath this road, and then the tanks all drain into that and go out. But I'm planning on filling this in and going out probably another 20 feet or so. So we're gonna have to add on to these pipes too. But they're the floor drains that come out of the sugar house. One's in front of the evaporator, one's behind it. We'll take out the tree, that tree there, and so we'll have more room out here to turn around. So when I bring fuel down, I bring it down to fill the tank. Hardest part is you couldn't turn around. So we're gonna have it so there'll be enough room to turn around. So it just needs a little grading up and stuff. I called the guy. Does my excavating, and we got a lot of picking up and moving stuff to do, but we're way ahead of last year. So anyway, I called my excavator guy that does a lot of my excavating for me, and asked him about gravel. And he's older. He had a hip replaced, and I don't know. I guess he was laid up a little bit longer than he thought he was going to be, and the inspection ran out on his dump truck. So he's got to get the dump truck inspected, and he said that the backup beeper was not working, and he might have to get tires put on. And he was going to let me know. I asked him about what they call modified, which is, because if I put stone down here, just regular washed stone like this over here, you're just going to come down here and plow the snow, and it's going to be gone. It's not going to pack. I think this time of year, the modified is going to have a harder time packing probably too. But and basically we got to do some digging right here. So we have a high spot. I'm not sure what to do about this because I don't know, because we don't get water. We don't have a water problem, but so right here where this block is, that bigger stone, that's actually nothing but stone. It actually is kind of a drain, and that's where it goes into. I'm standing right on top of the 12-inch pipe, and it goes into there and it drains out. So we haven't really had much of a problem with water and getting in there, but I'm not sure what we want to do here. We've got, I don't know if we want to level it up or what. I'd like to do like pads, like concrete pads for the doors. Obviously there's a high spot right there. I'd like to do concrete pads for the doors, but I don't want to create, a low spot either. And it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of torn because, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing, as long as the water goes on by, I'm kind of like thinking, So I think we're going to probably start by lowering it right here where the grass is, lowering it right there. And then we're going to grade it and lower it all a little bit. It's not quite, there's a high spot right out there for sure. And try to make it so that it comes down the ramp, it levels off a little bit, like probably back here. I would say we're going to start right here and grade this off and then go that. There's a bit, you can see it's high from the truck tires back to here. It's probably maybe about a foot high, but we can do that with the Bobcat. You don't need the excavator to do that. And then it's definitely low out there, which is exactly what we want. We want it to get past the sugar house and away from the sugar house, and then just, if there's high spots out there or low spots out there that hold water out there, it's way better than having the water being held, by the sugar house. And we can fix that later. So right now the idea is to get this graded off how we want it, not level. I want to have a little bit of slope away from the sugar house this way and away that way. Or one of the other. You go that way, probably in front of the sugar house, go away from the sugar house, and then when we get past it, we'll just go that way with it. Go to the left. But right now we're just, once we get it graded off how I like it, I have a laser level. I might try that just to see, I can see where it needs to be worked, just to kind of get it close, and then we'll haul gravel. Right now I'm like, I want to get, 3 or 4 loads of gravel, maybe 5. I think he said it'd be like $400 a load or something like that. Probably get like 4 or 5 I would get 3 or 4 and see how much that does, and try to do as much as we can, and then we'll call it quits. We just want, if we gravel this all in right here in front of the sugar house, that's more than has ever been done before. So, and then we'll gradually work on the rest of it. And I just want to have nice gravel all the way around, and get to where we don't, probably going to put down some landscape fabric, geotex, whatever you want to call it, and that will help with the weeds and just make it nice. And then next summer or spring or summer or whatever, we'll probably rent the excavator again and do some more and haul some more gravel in. But it got pushed off for the fall as usual. That's what I usually end up having to do, and it's unfortunate because now the weather is, it's going to get up to about 50 today. It's going to be a nice day today. Get up to about 50 today, but we're getting, we got snow a couple days ago. We got 3 inches of snow. We've gotten some rain. It's not going to be, probably not going to be truly dry for a while. But I think right now, I probably can work with this a little bit and just kind of grade it off a little bit. So anyway, I think that we kind of talked enough. Just kind of getting ready to get this project finished up and get ready for the 2026 maple syrup season. Hope you liked the video. Hope you're looking forward to seeing the updates as much as I am, seeing the finished projects as much as I am. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more from Triple D Farms, Triple D Maple, and Triple D Cabins. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.